Keep your head up, you'll be okay. A beautiful day waiting for you. Just open your eyes, you'll see it's true. Good times, sunshine, gonna be here in no time now. Bad times, gray skies, push them all away, turn them upside down. You're gonna break new ground, turn everything around. You're gonna live your life. There's a beautiful day headed your way. Keep your head up, you'll be okay. Beautiful day waiting for you. Just open your eyes, you'll see it's true. A beautiful day.
Welcome back to the Booga Box live stream. It's Thursday night for Large Project Thursday. We're going to be working on the Chiefs end zone inlay. I was hoping to get some more done before today, but didn't end up doing so. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on it, but I hope everybody's having a good week so far. Hopefully your Thursday went well. Didn't really do a whole lot today when it comes to chainmail, which was kind of a bummer, but had some other things to take care of, and I'm still kind of weaning down off being sick, so I was just tired today, overall today, just couldn't get motivated, it seemed like. And I'm like, well, the stream's coming, that'll motivate me. So, hey Sean, good to see you, what's up? Hopefully I'll make your stream tonight. I was going to last night. Got it started, get ready to get it started, and then the cats were bugging me, and I was like, alright, let me just go get the kitchen taken care of. Next thing I know, I was upstairs for an hour and a half, and missed it all. Hopefully I'll be catching it tonight, though, because, like I said, today has just kind of been a slow, long, dragging day of not much going on. Went to take a nap, and I was like, oh, I just need to lay down for half an hour to an hour. Just feeling blah. Next thing I know, I slept for 3 hours. I was like, really? Holy mackerel. I'm going to be up forever tonight, so. And I ended up working on some more laser etch stuff last night before I ended up going to bed, so. I'm going to get some pictures of some more scales that I've done, and trying to think of different things that I haven't seen out there for scales and tags. And hopefully soon this will be done. Inlays always take forever, especially when you don't give them much work. I took a nap today. You took a nap today too, huh? Yeah, it's just one of those days. I mean, it was cloudy all day. It's cold still. We ended up very, very light snow all day. I think we've only gotten about an inch, maybe just over an inch, inch and a quarter. It's not much, but it's just been kind of one of those yucky days. There was no reason to go out. Didn't need to go out and get anything, so. Oh, I did get some laundry caught back up. I still need to finish it. Hoping that tomorrow will be a nicer day. It's supposed to be still cold, but we're supposed to be sunny. I guess those cloudy days always kind of put you in one of those moods. Some days it doesn't bug me, but, well, what did I spend? Probably about 2 hours on editing pictures from Tuesday night when I went to do the flag corps pictures Tuesday night. And I got the raw ones off so they could get the buttons made for them, but then I needed to still go through and do my edits and stuff for the kids or the parents, whoever wants to grab them, and they can do whatever with them. So I did spend, it was probably about 2.5, 3 hours probably doing all that. It always takes a little bit to get through them all. And Mostly just because when it comes to doing any type of graphics work, it drives me nuts because I can work on I've actually still got one graphic that I've been working on for about 10 years. It's kind of changed through those times, but I'll work on a graphic and it's like, man, okay, this isn't too bad, and I'll put it up and think about it, a little bit later. I'm like, you know what, I should have done this to it. So then I open it back up and I start playing with it again. That's how all my graphics work ends up being, or video work for that matter. It's like, and I do need to apologize last night if anybody stopped in. Hopefully my audio is working decent tonight. If anybody's still here, and let me know if the audio is coming through. Last night's audio, I guess, went to crap on me for some reason. Daughter told me near the end of the stream something was up with it. And I was like, I don't know what. I mean, I haven't done anything different other than make sure all my cords were hooked up because I lost the one camera cord from the couple nights before that. And when I went to view it afterwards, I was like, yeah. And then so I checked the video that I actually recorded to the system too, and it had it. So I was like, well, it's not an internet problem. That was a microphone problem. Sound fine to you? Oh, that's good then. Yeah, I don't know what was up. All I ended up doing was resetting the microphone. I use a little tripoded microphone with a little screeny thing, and it's nothing fancy, but it seems to do the job pretty well. But last night, for some reason, it didn't want to work well, I guess. But after a reset, I tested it earlier today. I did about a 20-minute recorded video. I didn't stream it or anything, just to kind of test and make sure the sound was working, and it seems to be working fine now, so at least then. I was like, well, we'll find out when the stream comes along if it works out or not. Yeah, I don't know what was up with it last night. Thought maybe the laser was interfering with it at first, because the way the daughter was explaining it to me, but once I started looking at it closer, I was like, no, it had nothing to do with the laser, because it was still, it was doing it while the laser wasn't working too, so it must have just been a computer glitch and just needed to reset the mic. So, because I was going to delete the video from last night and put up what I recorded, but with the recording having the same audio issue, I was like, well, that's about pointless. So, if you were here last night, I do apologize for that. Well, I guess at least you got to see some laser work being done. I got some more to do tomorrow. Tomorrow's my normal laser day, even though I've kind of been lasering outside my normal laser days, just because I've had more orders due, plus adding more stuff to my stock already. So trying different things. And going to be doing some lasered up etching on some Zippos, and I've got quite a bit of new stuff to try on the laser now, so it's kind of been keeping me a little preoccupied, just learning the new system. I wasn't able to watch last night. That's cool. Like I said, I just kind of do it. Whoever's here is here. And I'm not sure if too many people showed up or not, because I was up and down out of the seat, not looking at the computer most of the night. Well, some of the night, since I was having to get up and change, move the stuff around in the laser to do more stuff. Even though it was all heart tags, but they turned out really nice, I thought. Wife liked them. Let's see here. Yeah. I didn't count these because we're now on the 34 count. Top to bottom, each row, till we start getting a little further along in this H. Yeah, I wasn't able to catch yours last night either, which was a bummer. Well, I might have actually been in there. I think I was actually there and had the video open, but it was muted. And like I said, once I started it, I got busy doing some other things, and then next thing I know, it's 10:30, and I come back, and nothing was going on, so I might have been physically, or kind of kind of there as a head count, but wasn't doing anything. Alright, let me mark these off real quick before I forget. Forgot to do the row before, so I had to do a double count on my stuff earlier just to make sure I knew where I was at. I did see those, they look good, cool. Yeah, they came out really well, I thought. Finally dialed in the settings on the machine and getting really good on that. Next thing is to I've done the one so far of on a titanium scale, laser etching a titanium scale. It's not too bad. I've still got some more settings I want to try and change up some things. This was on a raw scale. I've got some others I'm going to anodize up and do some different things too once I get the settings a little more accurate that I need for titanium. And then I'll start getting some more titanium tags other than the scales. I've got large and small titanium scales right now. I've got about 200 or 300 of each. Don't have a plan for them other than anodizing them up. But it did pretty well for the first couple tests so far. So every material's a little different, trying to figure it out. Take a little testing to, get them going. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I got several others on the pictures there that I showed earlier that were on just regular anodized aluminum ones that, I mean, once I figured out those settings, pretty much have worked on everything that I've tried to do when it comes to anodizing aluminum, anodized aluminum etching it, so they work out well. Now, I got most of my stainless steel settings down for the most part. I mean, if it's a new type of stainless, I'll have to give it a little trial, but most everything so far has been working really well. Nice and crisp. Like I said, I've got 52 dog tags I'll be doing up double-sided for the band trip. I got 90% of the graphic done. I keep kind of changing it a little bit. One side I got pretty much finalized. It's just, band logo and that. Back side I'm trying to play with because I did it about 4 years ago when I did it for the other band when my daughter was in, when they took a Chicago trip. And it's like, well, I don't want to use the same graphic on the back, just changing up some things, so trying to do it a little differently than what I had before. Which, though, I did read something just, was it yesterday? Might have been the day before. This week's been kind of, but I did read something that Chicago's changing a lot of their rules for COVID, so now I might end up going. I was going to go, and then with all the rules they had up there, I was like, man, I don't want to go up there if I'm going to have to, go through all these little hoops, just, And then I read they're going to be dropping a lot of it here pretty soon, and I was like, well, that could change things up on me going up there now, so kind of halfway still planning on it. Need to finalize up a few more things, and then I'd like to. I don't know. I'm wanting the wife to go, but I'm not sure with her health issues. If when you're up here, let me know. Yeah, I planned on it. I kind of already thought if I get up there, I'm definitely going to try to find a place that's a little more north of where I normally stay west and south of the city by about 40-50 miles, so I just drive into Chicago for the band performance on the last time we went. I'm like, well, I'd go a little more north this time, too. I don't like being in the city. I'm not going to go around in the city and do much anyway, so. And like I said, if the wife goes, that'll kind of change up some things too, but in a way I'd like her to, but in a way it's just, like I said, it's just more of a pain to do everything, so we're gonna see. I'll chat with her. She's started some new meds here in the last couple weeks to see if that might help some things, so Yeah, I mean, I've gone to Chicago many times in my life through years. I think I had actually 2 band trips myself to Chicago back in the day. And then I went, was it early noughties? I went by myself one year for 3 days, and I stayed downtown then. I ended up flying in and everything. And it was alright, but then, the time before the van trip, it was like, being in the city is just starting to be a pain in the butt, so that's when I started to say, alright, we'll find a nice little town outside the city and just drive in for the event. And to be honest with you, it was actually kind of nicer because, well, I tell you what, that city traffic in Chicago is insane. I thought Kansas City was bad, but all their weird roads and stuff trying to get to here and there. Oh, yeah. Not fun. Not fun. And, I mean, we got crazy drivers here, but man, Chicago drivers, woo, doggy. They are insane. What they did, I'm assuming what they consider normal daily driving for them down here in Kansas City would be the insane drivers that, nobody gives you any kind of traffic is necessary. Stay away as much as possible. Yeah. It's like nobody is necessarily nice or, I'm used to, there's places in Kansas City where when it gets busy, you kind of, but everybody's still pretty nice and lets people over and stuff. And you just have to take chances in Chicago because I remember trying to get on the highway once and nobody was wanting to let you over. And down here, they kind of, there's some that won't, but a lot of people are be nice and try to help you out and stuff. But in Chicago, it was like, nope. So then it was like, all right, I'm just going to have to start taking driving chances here that I'm not used to. That was, yeah. It was not fun the last trip up there, I will say that, driving down in there. Well, we had to go down by the stadium to where they were performing at the, museum. Which museum was that? The, Natural History Museum, maybe, is where they were performing. Yeah, out there right off the lake. So, getting down into there was, like I said, all the other times before, I'd pretty much flown in and just took cabs around wherever I needed to go, or when I stayed downtown, it was like everything was in walking distance for the most part. Walking around Chicago in January was a little different, I will say that. I drive a truck, so I just push them off the road and they make room. Yeah. Well, we were in a little bitty two-doored. I ended up borrowing my mom's car because it just got better gas mileage and trying to drive the van. It got 38 miles per gallon, so that was nicer than our 16 to 18 for the van. So ended up driving that, and so it was just a little small car up there, a little compact thing, trying to drive around. Yeah. Nobody wants to give you any kind of room whatsoever. Well, and I mean, every city's got their own little things, and, entrance and exit ramps up there are so much different compared to down here. It's crazy. And the other thing was, I remember, here in Missouri, you always have signs, don't drink, drive. Don't drink, drive, All the signs I've seen in Chicago were, drink, but keep it below .08 or whatever the amount was, and I was just like, okay, this just seems so wrong. I mean, these were in all the rest stops on the way, through Illinois and stuff. It was only, it would have been normally about a 10-hour trip. It took us about 12 hours our last drive up there, but the wife had to make a lot of extra stops just because of her medications and stuff. So it took a little bit longer to get up there. Kind of went back roads per se, and we took a few major highways, but a lot of them I took the smaller cider highways, so I didn't have to deal with going through bigger cities. So I'm still debating that. Like I said, I'm hoping to go. I'd like to go. But then I still need to chat with them. We got a band parent meeting next Tuesday. No, Tuesday after that. I'll get some more information on that and find out exactly when and where they're playing. Because that's going to be the next thing. If I can't get into the venue where they're going to be playing to be able to record anything, it'd be kind of pointless. Sometimes I've had that happen depending on where we go, and they'll let the band in and stuff and directors, but I mean, I'm not even a parent, so that kind of changes things sometimes. And sometimes I think directors, depending on what the director can get, what they're allowed to do anyway, let's say. I know the other band I'm helping now is about, what was it, 10, 12 years ago now, they went to New York to play at big one there in New York. Crap, what's the name of that place? That one's a weird one. You have to, before you can play in there, you have to be considered a resident of New York. But to be a resident of New York, I guess, you just have to be in the city for 2 days, and then you can play there. So you had to take a longer trip to go into that one. But it was absolutely no recording in there. And so it was like, well, can't go and get recording there. I'll just get pictures and other stuff from other parents and whatnot. So I didn't end up making that trip. So it will depend on what everything they've got going on. If it's something I can get to, we'll also play into it. But I think it's only, well, they're calling it a 4-day trip, but I think 1 day's travel up, 1 day's travel back, so they'll have actually 2 days in the city. So, no, it's the first weekend of June, I believe, if I remember correctly. After school's graduated. So in a way, it's kind of nice because it'll actually give me a few more weeks with doing the DVDs for them, other than waiting on video from that event. Which I've started to kind of do little bits here and there. I mean, I got a lot of it done during marching season. Concert season's a little different. They actually had their last marching event coming up here in 3 weeks for our Snake Saturday parade. You have to be a resident? That's weird. Yeah, for the, the main place there in New York, I don't know why it's, our band, my old high school band, they've actually traveled there twice to perform. It was about, I think, 16 years ago, and then it was about 12 years ago. But yeah, to perform there, they had all kinds of weird little rules. There's not a lot of people get to perform there, I guess, so. But yeah, they had to be a resident, so it was 2 or 3 days they had to be in town. Those 2 trips always ended up, most band trips are 4 days, pushing 5 at the most. I think both the times they went ended up being a 6 to 7 day trip, because they had to be in town for so long before they were able to perform there. One of the few high schools that have performed at this building, I even made up fake, well, I say fake tickets, but they were large pieces of paper. And I kind of made them look like a ticket to get Carnegie Hall. Carnegie Hall. That's it. And I made up little kind of, they were locker decorations for the band kids that were all going. They looked like tickets to admit them into Carnegie Hall and stuff. Now the director did get a video of it. They did do a video of them, but she wasn't allowed to give it to me to put on DVDs for all the kids, which kind of sucks. They weren't allowed to put it on YouTube, which sucks. She only had one permission for her to have the copy, and she could show it, so we all got to see it, but we couldn't put it up anywhere or show it off and put it on DVDs for the kids. So, and I think just for that, the band parents still had to shell out like $1,000 for the rights to get that one DVD that couldn't be shared anywhere. And I mean, she wasn't going to give up the shot of getting that, to let me put it on DVDs so the kids could have it too, just because, she might go back there and perform again. She's She's no longer the teacher at the school, but she is part of the Kansas City Wind Symphony. She's one of their directors and a bass clarinet player, so they've actually gone up there and performed a few times also, I guess. That's what kind of got the leeway in to get her band in, but all her bands have always been really, really good. And her concert bands, when you listen to them, you don't put them in the same realm as of a lot of high school bands, that was for sure. She always had them very well prepared. Hey Barb, the Bard is here. How you doing tonight? Hope you're having a good Thursday. Just sitting here working some more on the Chiefs end zone inlay here. I'll show it off once we get close near the end of our stream. I'll spread it back out here. Where are we at anyway? 25 minutes in, so still got a little bit. Get this row done, maybe another row. We'll kind of see how it goes, where we're at by the time we get there. Just kind of getting into it, so you're okay? Well, that's good. Better not being okay. It's kind of like my day. It was like just a blah day. Nothing exciting, but extra nappy time. A little bit of snow. Probably not like what you guys get up there. So it's just kind of a blue day. So I did some graphics work for the pictures I took the other night, but other than that, no chain mail. I didn't necessarily do any laser etching, but I was working up some guides and stuff like that, and getting my templates on the computer set. So if I ever get orders and stuff for special things, everything's kind of much easier set up, where I can just kind of throw in graphics and they're pretty much ready to go. Compared to how I was doing it during all my testing, it was a lot of moving and positioning stuff to finally get it right. Trying to make arrangements for it's my mom's 90th birthday tomorrow, so feeling a bit frazzled. Well, happy birthday to your mother. Hope everything goes well. Yeah, same here, Sean. I hope she has a good birthday. I know my youngest birthday is in 2 weeks. 13th coming up. You know that. She'll be... What is she going to be now? 22, yeah. She was born in 2000. And she's had some Friday the 13th birthdays. It was kind of like... I got a kick out of your thing earlier today, Sean. That was the milk. That cracked me up. Your milk's good till February 30th. Okay. So, indefinitely. Since there's never been a February 30th. I ended up saving the graphic. I wanted to repost it, but I did end up saving it just because it's one of those graphics. I have a folder of just silly graphics that I've found over the last 25, 30 years. I end up just saving them into a file. And that one had to go into mine. Wonderful age, 13. And I think, did I say she's going to be 13? Her birthday's on 13th. She'll be, our youngest is now 22, yeah. My oldest will be 30 this year, 4 grandkids. I just turned 50 not too long ago. Well, about 5-6 months ago. Wife will be 50 this year. That was funny. Someone commented something like, where did you get that from? From the Holy Cow. I must have missed that one. I caught it pretty quickly, and I hadn't gone back to see it, because I think there was only one comment whenever I first had seen it, but yeah. I don't know, it was just milk dated February 30th was just funny to me. Was that milk you bought, or was that just a graphic that you found, a picture that you'd found. I was kind of wondering. Because it almost, I mean, I don't, you know, most dates I don't necessarily judge very good on when it comes to milk. Because if I get my milk from actually a fairly high named milk supplier from around here, the dates on them, I have to go like 3 days before that, and that's about when it goes bad. But a milk I get from Aldi, it can go almost a week past its date and perfectly fine. Unlike this cheap Aldi milk, so much better than this high dollar brand name milk. Anyway, I've got to put the kids to bed. I'll see you later. Alright, you have fun, Sean. Tell your family hi and hope they're doing good. And I'll hopefully see you here shortly tonight. Drop in for a little bit anyway. Need to make sure I put a link tonight over to Mail Works for his stream. I think I did last night. Last night was all weird once I started hearing that the sound was going really bad. And like I said, then I just still did some laser etching stuff, so kind of after I got done doing the kitchen. You have a good night too, man. I'm only at 1%. Drop rate, frame rate, so that's good. Alright, now we're back up to the mini reds. Mark these off. This is we're working on row 123. So that'll take us up 10,230 rings by the time we're done with this row. A few more red here. Slowly getting this knocked out. I'm hoping the next one will keep me a little more motivated. Well, and this time of the year, like I said, it kind of, during the fall, I always got band stuff that kind of can take up some chain mailing time. And spring, somewhat. I guess I didn't know. I just found out last night, so I'm not going to be able to make this. They're taking jazz band's taking a trip up to Omaha. And I wish I would have known, because that one I could have. That's fairly close. Omaha was only about 3.5, 4 hours away. Would have been nice to go up there and check out. I like jazz band. Nope, just caught just stumbled across the Mimi for the milk. The Mimi. They'll always be Mimis to me. If they want it to be a meme, it's M-E-E-M to me. M-E-M-E is a Mimi. Will always be a Mimi. I drive the kids with that. You know, it's kind of like that debate of if a GIF is called a GIF or a GIF. I always called them GIFs, but I have no idea what they're called. There's other words that I totally mispronounced them. At first, I did it by accident, and when I got made fun of for them, I'm like, you know, I'm now going to use it that way from now on. So, Mimi was one of them, and so they're always Mimis because it drives the kids nuts. I have actually had, out of the 3 kids and the wife has said it, she's called it a Mimi on purpose to be funny because of the way I do it. But I've had 2 out of the 3 kids say Mimi by accident because I've said it so many times. It's about like, Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, is that how it goes? I don't know, because I always call him DiCaprio. It's not that I don't find him, you know, there's been movies I don't care that he's in, movies that he's been in I like, but he's just always been DiCaprio to me, so the kids just always call him that by accident. Also now, because I've said it for so long. It's just kind of one of those things that, when I was a kid, growing up, I've gotten them to do a few things that I did as a kid. Because when I was a kid, I always had a hard time remembering how to spell together. For some reason, I just had a problem to spell that. And I think it was probably 6th or 7th grade. I was looking at it and I was like, how am I going to remember how to do this? And to get her is actually, if you spell it out to get her, that's how you spell it together. And so it stuck in my head, and that's even to this day. I still, if I'm writing out something and I've got to put together in there, I always think in my head to get her as I spell it. And so the kids have done that. I remember when they were younger, and I was like, this one's an easy one to remember. Together to get her, no problem. The other one was Wednesday. Because, I don't know, the way you say I don't even actually know how it's supposed to be pronounced, but to spell it, I always had a problem, so it became Wednesday. And then I could spell it. I got a few other weird ones like that, too. None as neater than those in my head. But, yeah, I just always had figuring out some things to spell. I always had little weird things to try to remember how to spell them. Some stuck with me. There's been some through the years I forgot just because I've spelt them so many more times now that, But I will admit that I am not a great speller. Never have been. And if Tara was around, she could attest to that. Now, I will say, typing is different than writing. When I'm typing, I get ahead of myself while I'm typing, so I'll misspell words, not on purpose, but not by accident per se either. It's just I'll start getting ahead of myself. And so I misspell a lot of words. Or, like this, that, things, 4-lettered words especially. The last 2 letters I'll switch just because my fingers are going so fast. When I'm typing, I'll just transpose those, not on purpose and not necessarily by accident either. It's just, if I slow down my typing, it's better. But yeah, Tara has seen she's actually helped me out quite a bit with checking some of my tutorials and stuff that I put out, because my typos were horrendous. Even when I'm reading it, I'm just so I don't know if you've ever seen the little memes too, where they misspell words and put in extra letters or change a letter to a number. I can easily read those because how it says your mind only sees this, and it knows what's supposed to be there. And that's kind of how when I go back and reread my own stuff, part of it is because I wrote it, so it's already in my head. So when I'm reading it, I'm not actually looking at the letters per se again, and so I'll read it perfectly fine, but it is misspelled. I am horrible at spelling. Never cared for it as a kid too much, and I do most of the time okay. I do better when I'm handwriting stuff, just because, it's a little harder to get ahead of writing. Though I can still do that, but when I'm writing and I start doing stuff like that, it's normally I'll just forget is's, in, it's, things like that, the 3-letter words. I'll drop those a lot just because I thought I wrote it, but I didn't. But if you want to talk about the worst, it's probably texting. It doesn't help that if I misspell a word and then it tries to autocorrect it, it autocorrects it to even worse words. Not necessarily bad words sometimes, but... and then the stupid phone drives me nuts. If you do the same misspell, it starts to think that's what you mean to do when you spell it correctly. Because when I first got a smartphone years ago now, I tried to type good, and I typed Goid, G-O-I-D, instead of G-O-O-D. Go to the O and the I's next to each other, and on a phone, you don't have actual keys, so... Sorry, I had to step away, had some stuff to take care of. No problem, Barb. Like I said, we're just here to have some fun. If you got things to do, no biggie. It's just good to see everybody when they do drop in. But, so yeah, now my phone, every time I type good and I type it correctly, it wants to spell it as Goyd now. Oh, and there's two other words. What are they? I forget what they were. That's why 90% of my texts are always just the letter K. Like, they'll say something, I'm like, okay. And I don't even put the O anymore because I kept putting ick. IK, and then it would change it to, I think it was changing it to ice. And so I'm trying to say okay, and it's sending off a text of ice. And I'm like, what? So now it's just the letter K. And then I always tell them, if it's close, if it's like, what's around a K? The L, the J, the M. If it's just one letter, and I am replying to a question, just know that it's okay, whatever being sent, if it's an M or a J or whatever. My texting is horrible. I know there was a... Yeah. Like it automatically changes, yeah. Well, and like I said, if I spelled Goyd a couple times instead of good, and now it thinks good is Goyd, so I have to always tell it, no. I want good because I spelt it right this time. Don't change it over to Goyd. I've not had a whole lot of bad ones come up like that. Normally it's just, like I said, if I transpose a letter here or there because I'm going so fast, but like a smartphone's keypads, oh, they drive me nuts. They're kind of responsive, but not totally responsive, and much easier to screw it up. If you don't pick up your finger high enough, it thinks you're trying to, I guess the text things have these where you slide around, and if you kind of pause at a letter as you're going, that's the letter it takes, and I hate texting. I absolutely hate it. If anything, I'd rather text the old way on an old flip phone. My phone never recognizes the word chainmail. Yeah, oh yeah. Neither does my laptop either. My main computer, it does, because every program I have, I've told it to add that word, because I was tired of it telling me it was misspelled. So that I added to, but my laptops don't do it. I don't even try to attempt it on my cell phone. Like I said, texting to me, there was a concert last year my daughter helped me with, and I had her up in the... not a press box, but it's the upper area where they'll have the spotlights and stuff like that. I'll get up there to do my recording of the main thing, and I'll have a couple cameras down one on the stage and one kind of in the middle of the auditorium. And so she was up there doing that one for me last year, and before the concert we were texting back and forth, and I mean we could see each other, but we were couple 100 feet away, so, and she sent me a text, and I'm sitting there looking at it, and like, I went to reply to her. Literally took me about 4 minutes to send her back a few sentences and stuff, and she, after the concert, she was like, I thought you were up there writing me a huge old letter because you were sitting there typing for like 4 minutes, and I got back as 2 sentences. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. That's why I answer with K. Takes me too long, and then if I see it screw up, I gotta back up, fix it, and trying to get into the middle of a sentence by fingering where you want it. Yeah, on a phone just never works right for me. At least with a mouse and a pointer, I can put it right where I need to be, and every time I go to push it to get there so I can backspace to fix a screw up or something, I'm always 2 letters off and it just drives me nuts. But yeah, she was like, you type slower than you drive, Dad. They always call me Grandpa when I drive, even before I was a grandpa. I'm like, I'm doing the speed limit. I don't go slower than the speed limit, but everybody calls me Grandpa because I do the speed limit. There are a few times I think I surprised them where we were going on a band trip. It was local kind of band trip. It was only like 60, 70 miles out down to Columbia. And actually the bus had broke down that year. And so all the parents that were going, we tried to load up as many instruments and kids that we could into cars that were going. And daughter ended up riding with us and a few instruments. Again, that was the year we were borrowing my mom's car again because it was smaller, better on gas. and so I couldn't put a whole lot in there. But going down there, following everybody, I had to go a little faster. It's frustrating. Oh yeah, very much so. But everybody was going a little faster, so I was keeping up with them. And she was like, "Man, you're speeding. You're doing 80 in a 75. What's up?" Longer trips, highways, I might go a little faster, but if it's all anything local, I'm normally right at the speed limit. Drives them kids nuts, though. Like, I drove too fast when I was younger and got into too many accidents. None of my accidents were caused by speeding, though. That's the crazy thing. My speeding was always fine. I got into a car accident doing the speed limit, or a little under. But luckily, they were all somewhat slow speed. None of them were highway. They were all weird. One of them was where this hill was, and it was always a known problem hill because of where they had turning lanes for cars to turn in front of you. Blah blah blah. And it was that was my first major accident. Totaled my Mustang, my '66 Mustang, in that one. And it was probably about 4 years after that they come through and took out this hill where it happened, because it was a known. I mean, there was always accidents on this stupid hill. There was a road crossing roads just on the opposite side of it, so people coming from one way up over that hill. There was a sign that made you slow down, like down to 35 to go over that hill to watch for traffic. But even doing 30, going over that hill, and people turning and not turning quite fast enough, it was just always a problem with wrecking hill. They finally come through and leveled it out a bit so you could more easily see traffic. And I was, I wasn't going very fast, but yeah, it totaled my Mustang. I think it was more when I hit a van that was turning, and then I ended up sliding off, and then there was right there on this corner of this, they were tearing down the hill, because they were going to be putting in a grocery or a little gas station or something right there. So there was about a 15-foot drop off where they had been cutting away the dirt, and so when I hit the van, I spun and then ended up falling down into that. So my Mustang was standing up practically at a 90-degree angle, standing up. I was laying in the front windshield, I guess, when they got me out. I don't remember any of that. All I kind of remember is a car slamming on the brakes, closing the eyes, and then next thing I remember is waking up at the hospital. I'm over here. Gotta go, Rick. Have a good night. You too, Barb. I'm glad you got to stop in. All that. I hope you have a good birthday night tomorrow night with your mother. Tell her happy birthday from the Booga Box. And we'll hope to see you again here this next week. We might have a stream this Saturday. Not sure again yet, but we will be back for sure Monday for you. I'm glad to have you drop in anytime. That's my Bard. Been chatting with her for quite a while now through some of the other streams, and misspelled her name once and kind of went with it. So she's my Bard. Yeah, it was probably the most major wreck I've ever had. Other ones were minors. Alright, so that row is done. So now we're on to row 124. And where we at in our stream wise? 48 minutes. So we're going to continue to go down this line, see what happens. For at least another 10, maybe 15. We might go a little bit longer and finish off this whole row. I need white, not green. We'll kind of just see how it plays by the time we're at our hour. See how far along we are. We'll go hour 15, I'm okay. Like I said, I always like to minimum go an hour. I like to go an hour and a half, but it just kind of depends on where things fall sometimes. Sometimes it's because I got other things I need to get done around the house. Sometimes it's because, it's a good stopping point in the chainmail. If I keep going, I need another good, if I'm at an hour 10 and I've got a half an hour more to finish up to a point of a good stopping point, I'll end up just going ahead and stopping then. But so like I said, it's always a minimum of an hour, but it could go longer at times. I've gone over actually an hour and 45 a few times, but that's just because I, one, wasn't paying attention, had so many other things I was doing, and where I was in the project. Let's see here. So this is getting a little more full of the H. How many more? I've only got 2 more red lines that are full 34, and then we actually start shrinking down. So 2 more this one, and 1 more, and then we'll actually start shrinking the first part of the H, where it's italicized look. So I'm really hoping I can get some more done on this weekend. But I should be able to leave it out. I can't think of anything I need to really put it up for. I will be doing some laser tomorrow, but I've got another area set up now. After doing the laser stuff this past week, I kind of changed up a few other little things to give me more room to do some of that. So, and I don't have any orders that need to be actually lasered up for tomorrow, so in a way that's nice. But since it still is, I still got a few projects that I've been trying, and then a few new items that I need to put through and do some testing on. So, testing days can always take a little bit of time, just because, you know, there's more into doing a test and trying this, trying that. Sometimes I'm doing the same graphic 5, 6, 7, 8 times just to see where I like it. You know, I try to get it, you know, everything I try to do is, you know, I want it to be up to a certain standard, and I try to get it there. Before, there have been a few things that I've done that I've just never put out yet, just because I feel they can be better. Now, if they can or not, I don't know. There's actually a few bracelet weaves and stuff that I've done, chainmail wise weaves, that I like the look of them, but they want to kind of fall out of place. So sometimes it's just a matter of changing up ring sizes will help that. Sometimes that doesn't seem to matter. There's a few that I like. I think it was Coda was one of them. I really like the look of Coda. But the thing, if you kind of play with the bracelet enough and it's not on your wrist all the time, it can start falling out of place in a few spots. And it just drives me nuts. I'm like, you know, people are out there selling them, and you know, they will have that issue, and I'd just rather not sell something that will have that issue. Easy enough to get back into their places, if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you could actually make it worse by trying to put them back into place and using too much pressure, and then you open rings, and that just causes more problems. So, but that's one thing I like about doing with stainless steel, even my silver, sterling or Argentinium and stuff like that, you know, weld those up and not have as many issues. So my wife has broken one of her welds on her half Persian 4-in-1 fine silver bracelet I made. I welded it up. First time, actually, I rebuilt it twice. First time I didn't weld it. It was just pretty, but fine silver is very soft, and so they started separating fairly quickly. So then I took it apart, rebuilt it, and welded it all. And it might have just not been the greatest of a weld, but she broke a weld on there, so I still need to go back through and fix that one. But I think I'm going to have to replace that ring totally, because I'm going to try to get it back to being round, but it got kind of pulled and mangled, so it's more ovalish. And I might be able to recover it, but if not, I'll put in another. That's why, you know, I pretty much guarantee all my stuff. If you ever have a problem with it, you know, I'm more than willing to fix them for free if it's something, you know, the occasional screw up. If you're super hard on them, that might be a different story. I'm not, you know, I fixed a few bracelets here and there a couple different times because they were a little hard on them, but I'm more than willing to fix anything that I've done. I've actually fixed a few things that were bought by people from another chain mailer, and they needed to get it fixed and couldn't find them to get it fixed, so I fixed it for them best I could. So I'm willing to do that too. Let's see here. I think this is, yeah, another straight 34, so we're even across. Mark that off. So this will take us down to about 78 more rows to do. So we'll be coming up on that 2/3 mark here pretty soon. You've been following us doing this. I know this has taken us a little while compared to some of the things, but like I said, if it's a commissioned order, those are always faster. When we did the Chiefs chainmail flag, it had a little less than what this has in ring wise, but it was definitely a lot less time. But we worked on it more. I mean, that's pretty much all I streamed there for when I first started streaming, was just doing that. And that was, we were streaming, you know, 5-6 times a week because I was working on it quite a bit. Nothing like I did on my Chiefs jersey. I had 40,000 rings and got that done in 39 days. Basically was doing about 1,000 rings a day. Probably a little more than that, because there was a few days that I took off, and then there was a couple here and there that I only got about 300-400 rings in for a day. So other days I had more. But yeah, I put in a lot of time on doing the Chiefs jersey, but that was right at the beginning of lockdowns for COVID. Really couldn't do a whole lot of other, so it kind of worked out to be the perfect time to do that. Yeah, it was 175 hours and 39 days, 40,000 rings. Daughter and wife were like, yeah, we didn't see you much there that month. I'd come up, eat, they'd see me go take a shower and then disappear again. So there was days there I was 6-7 hours a day. Not straight, obviously, you know. Most I can really do at any one sitting without taking breaks is about an hour and a half, and my arms are just toast. So I normally work in little sessions. You know, I'll do a 25 to 45 minute session, and then I'll take, 15-20 minute break when I'm really heavy into doing it, and come back, do another, 30-45 minutes. Just to give my arms some time, because like if I push them to the hour and a half, I got to take a good hour break. So if I go shorter times, it doesn't take as much recovery time. Because, I don't know, any given night on a stream here, we're normally doing about 250 to 300 rings in our hour. Outside of the stream, it's normally about 22 to 27 minutes per row. Stream is normally 25 to 30 minutes per row, just because I am kind of pausing, looking around more often, reading comments, replying to comments. That kind of slows everything down a little bit. Outside of a stream, I'm still recording it, but, I'm not talking or anything. I'm not having to look over and do all that, so it's just ring, 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 and one after another, one after another. Where are we at here? We're at 58 minutes, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and finish up this row, because we've probably got about another 15-ish minutes to finish up this row. But we'll probably go ahead and finish this row up before we call the stream done for the night. As long as nothing crazy happens anyway, and my hands hold up. Like I said, I've done really no chainmailing today, so they're kind of fresh on that aspect, but it's almost worse to be the first time I chainmail for the day. That's normally the hardest on my hands. Once I do a little bit, take a break, come back, it seems like my second and third rounds of chainmailing for the day are normally the better ones. Don't know why. It's kind of what happens, I guess. Let me go over here real quick, make sure I'm not missing any. I've missed a few comments on my YouTube here the last couple weeks, so hopefully I'm catching them now. Trying to look over there more often. I always catch my Facebook ones first, but which does remind me, don't forget to check us out on we're on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We streamed all three of those on our streaming nights. YouTube and Facebook will have all our past videos. I'm going to be going back there and seeing actually how many we've done so far. Videos, I'm not even sure. I know we're coming up on 9 to 10 months of doing streams, so we're getting close near our year of doing full streams. Because I actually started the stream because of doing the Chiefs inlay flag for customer Vicky, who stops by on occasion in here. And that's why I kind of started doing the stream, and then just kind of afterwards I wasn't sure if I was going to continue, and I was like, you know what, it does give me a reason for sure to get some chainmail done. I mean, most time I don't need a reason per se, but when I have to sit down to do it, you know, in a way it is a job, but it's also cool that it does make me get in here because, you know, I might have gotten more done on this over the same amount of time because I am thinking about things sometimes. Do I want to save this and do this on the screen? And so that kind of changes up some things. But for the most part, I have fun doing them. And it just, you know, there for a while, I mean, I'm always active doing something for the business. But, you know, sometimes I don't like posting the same pictures over and over again of a weave that I've done. You know, I get a custom order for a weave that I've done. I've got pictures of it before. Don't want to show another picture of it. So, you know, I would normally, well, I will admit, I have a hard time sometimes remember to take customer pictures in a nice environment. Normally, I take a quick snap off the bench to show the customer, make sure they're happy with, you know, everything, the look of it and all that before it gets shipped off. But I don't take, you know, good setup pictures. I need to get into a better habit of that because, like I said, I honestly, I have probably 100 different items that aren't on my website that I need to get pictures of and posted up. I'm horrible at doing that. Web work can take a while. And that's, you know, that's the thing when you run your own business. There's a lot of little things that you know, stress you out. I mean, I enjoy it, but there are some times where, you know, a normal job would be a little better and I'd probably have more downtime. Because when you work from home and you're doing this type of work, you're pretty much always at work. I mean, to be honest with you, even though some days I might only get 3 or 4 hours in of chainmailing, throughout the day there's another 10 hours of actual work for the business when it either comes to doing the paperwork. You know, there's a ton of paperwork you got to keep up on for all your tax purposes and all that. Got graphics work for taking all your pictures, posting them. Then you got, I don't have anything on Etsy. I've never really ran a store on Etsy. I know a lot of people do. I want to keep my costs down. If I go to Etsy, I'm going to have to raise them up, you know, to help cover that cost and all that. I don't want to necessarily do that either, so... And there's a lot of stress when you're basically working from home and your job is just always there. Always available, you know. Normal job, you're working your 8 whatever hours straight and then you're kind of off. You know, this is nice that I don't have to go 8 hours straight doing, but it could be, overall, I end up putting in way more than 8 hours a day into the chainmail business, being on the laser side or the chainmail side, or I'm doing both when it comes to, like I said, all the paperwork, all the internet work you got to do. And then I'm also my worst at promoting myself. I hate promoting myself. I always feel weird promoting myself. Feels a little narcissistic in a way, but I need to because, you know, I'm not going to say I'm the best chainmailer out there, but I think I do a really good job, pretty good job. Most everybody has always been happy with my work, so. But it just feels weird just now, just even talking about it, saying that I do decent work. It just feels so weird. I'd rather have the other people do my talking for me when it comes to that, you know. I'd rather have people that have had experience with my stuff to know. So don't forget to give me likes and shares. That always helps too on getting me out there and, you know, letting people know. since I don't have chainmail in my business name per se, that takes a little bit of getting out there too, to let people know that it's actually chainmail. The Booga box does chainmail work. Now, granted, I do some laser etching, but that is kind of a side. I actually started doing laser etching just for the chainmail stuff, so I can do scales and tags and stuff for my own work, which was nice. But, you know, I have expanded on it, and I do other things now. But where are we at here? About hour 5 in, so we're a little bit over, but we don't have a lot left here to do. We're down into the almost out of the end zone, so then we'll just have that 5 yards to go. And like I said, it's not even per se. I try to just give it the look of a football field, because if you look at how wide our 5 yards is here, end zone's only 10 yards, so it shouldn't be quite as big. But I wanted my Chiefs to stand out more, so it's more for a look, not size comparable. But once it gets up and hanging, I don't think, I think some people might notice it's not exactly right, but like I said, it was going more for the look and feel of it. I think you can tell that this is the field, the football field, with what I've done to it, even though it's not, dimensionally accurate. So, like I said, don't forget to give out those likes and shares. All that helps get us out there to more people. If you're part of YouTube or Twitch, go over there, subscribe to us there too. You don't need to necessarily get your notifications if you don't want to, but it's all good to let you know more when we're here. I know I have people that show up on those too on occasion. More people show up on my Facebook most of the time, but let's see, I need 5 total anyway, so. But any bit, little bit helps, like I said, So I try to get my family to, but, they only watch about an eighth of my streams anyway. On occasion, they'll catch one. I'll hear them up there yelling at me. They were watching the other night when I wish they weren't watching, when I was making up the wife's Valentine's present. Bracelet. They got to see it while I was making it. I ended up giving it to her after the stream since she'd already seen it. She's like, you could have held off and it's like, you already seen it. What's the point? Here. I still want to do another one of those bracelets. It was Byzantine units. I'm gonna make it in 2 more sizes. Because I use fairly big rings for hers, but I want to do it in a medium size and then a small size. And then I'll actually have a few other ideas I want to do, and I need to actually get into doing my flower pots again. I didn't realize I'd sold my flower pot bracelets. I went looking for them actually last week, a little over a week and a half ago maybe. I've seen the wife, she was wearing her flower pot. I call them flower pots. Earrings. I was like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to make up some more of those. I need to go pull out I thought I still had my rainbow version bracelet, and I went looking through all my stuff, and I was like, I must have sold that and didn't realize it. And so I need to make up a few more of those. I'm going to probably put together a small tutorial for those. It's something a little different. There's nothing there. I would put them on the easy side of chainmail. There's one basic weave to it, kind of. But it's a fairly easy, smaller thing. I mean, it does use some smaller rings. But it comes out nice when it's done. It's one of those, though, that it's hard to judge a size. Sometimes you have to make your size on your extra by your clasp area, just because of the way each unit is built. If you're got it coming out to right at 8, you take out one unit area, and the next thing you know, you're barely over 7, type thing. You can still get it into those medium ranges, but then you just have to adjust on your clasp side to even it out. And I've got another, I'll work on some not tagged items related to chainmail, but I got some metal attachments for necklaces and stuff that I'm going to put some names on and engrave that I've been wanting to do. I've been putting it off now. Now I can do it. It's going to be better anyway now than if I would have tried to do it earlier. One, it'll be better. Two, it'll be quicker with the better and newer equipment that I'm using now. So that's kind of nice. So, yeah, we're an hour and 10 minutes. We're about an hour and 15 by the time we finish this. Not what I thought. I'll put us in 3 rows for tonight. 1, 2, yeah. 3 rows. I guess I had a little bit of the first row done before when we first started tonight. But this will finish us up on row 124. So 75, 76, 77 more rows after this. I gotta blow my nose too. Like I said, I've definitely been feeling better since Monday. Monday I felt better than I had the few days before, but Tuesday I didn't really seem to get any better. Wednesday it felt like a little bit more. Today a little bit more. I'm still feeling only about 75% though. I know I did that Tuesday run to do the pictures. It was nice to feel a little bit better that day, and luckily I only had about, I was up there for about an hour. I only was taking pictures for about half an hour though, so it wasn't too hard. And I'll be honest, it was kind of nice to, the school finally got rid of their mask policies, and that helped. I always get so worn out being up there at school in a mask. I know they're kind of needed somewhat, but yeah, how effective they are is questionable. But, do what I have to do for the most part. If they have a rule and I have to wear it, then I wear it. Like I said, that's one of the reasons why I was holding off on going to Chicago, because of all the extra rules they had up there, and it's like, man, I'm not jumping through hoops to take a vacation. And if they relax those up, where I won't have to worry about it as much, it'll be a different story. That was a weird ding-a-ling. What did that go to? I don't know, maybe it was part of the music. I've had that happen before. I'm listening to music and think I hear, there's a song, I swear, I don't know, I wish I could remember the name of the song. I hear it on when I'm out in the car driving. I've heard this song now a couple different times. But I swear in the background, they have somebody knocking on the door and a creaking door opening. Now, it's not like pushed up in the front of the music. Since I'm in band, I can listen to other parts of music and tone out other parts. But I swear I hear this, somebody knocking on the door and somebody opening it. First time I heard it, it really tripped me out while I was driving, because it's like, dude, it sounds like somebody's knocking on our house door. I just heard it. And the door squeaked. I have one door in the house that squeaks down here in the basement. And that's what it sounded like, squeaking open the door. And I was like, oh, weird. But I find a lot of that kind of stuff in the music that they just put it in to, as background, and you won't normally notice things. But I've always had this weird thing where I can kind of listen to something and tone out certain parts. If I'm listening, especially to a concert band, I can tone out woodwinds and just be listening to brass and not even hear them unless I remind myself, okay, listen to them all now, type thing. So, alrighty, that's the end of that row. Row 124. We're going to give this a quick stretch out. Where are we at here? Hour 13, so yeah, we're good. We got time to give this a quick stretch out. Not a whole lot since last time we did a stretch out on it, which would have been last Saturday, I think. But the H is starting to finally come in together, so once we can get that, we start getting that little line across the middle, because we've only got one more here, and then we'll start coming down white like this, so it'll be here, and then we'll have the red come over. But it's starting to get there. It is coming together slowly. Like I said, if Chiefs would have went to the Super Bowl, this would have been done by then, because I would have pushed and pushed. And I would have ignored a lot of things there for a while to get it done. But that's where we're at so far. Like I said, I'm hoping I can get some more work done on this weekend. I always keep saying I want to, and I always end up doing something. Something ends up coming up, or end up getting involved in something else, so we'll see. Well, let me go ahead and pull out my paper. It's getting a little wrinkly-fied. It's actually going to hang this way, even though this is how it's right now. It'll actually hang from there. The other one we're going to do will be the opposite way, on the other side of the whole inlay, because this will be here. I have some pictures, and then this will be on the actual other side of it too. So it'll be within the end zones. So eventually I'll have to do another one of these. Hopefully it'll be a little quicker and get it done in time and all that. Like I said, this is a long project. I don't plan on it necessarily being done for about 2 years by the time I get it all the 8 different pieces together. I should say 8 main pieces, because there's going to be a few smaller pieces that, they might only be, 500-600 pieces, rings in that, but anyway, excuse me. I do want to thank everybody again for dropping by, checking us out. Don't forget to give us those likes and shares. It's always great to see. Since tonight is Thursday, we will be back for sure on Monday night for Medium Project Monday. I'm hoping maybe I'll do another Saturday one. I said that for quite a while and I wasn't doing them, but this last week I actually finally got one done on a Saturday. Wasn't feeling all that great. I was starting to feel better, but I'm hoping that I can get a little bit more in on Saturday. If I do that, it always gets more done. So, if not, we will be back for sure on Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So, I hope you all have a great weekend if I don't see you before Monday. I hope you have a fun time and be safe. I'll see you later. Peace.